The IELTS writing section is arguably the most challenging section of the IELTS exam to get a high score. There are a number of reasons for this, and I'm going to explain what these are and how you can get a band over 6.5 using a sample essay from a real student at a 5.5 level and transforming this into a band 9 perfect task 2. Let's take a look. IELTS task 2 writing question. In some countries, people's weight has significantly increased while their levels of health have decreased. What do you think may be the causes of this problem, and what solutions can you suggest to solve them? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Write at least 250 words. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. This is a typical problems and solutions task 2 essay. And this sample 5.5 band essay corrected to a 9 will show you just how to answer this type of question. Let's begin. A 5.5 band is modest writing. It contains several language and grammatical mistakes and makes an okay argument, staying relatively on topic. This task 2 persuasive essay has good structure. It has an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. So let's take a deeper look at the introduction and see how to improve it. Let's begin by reading the original writing of the student. There is no doubt that obesity is one of the major health problems of actuality, which in many states people face weight gain, while their health prosperity has diminished. In this essay, I will discuss 2 of the problems of this fact and give some solutions to resolve them. The following mistakes are common to many IELTS candidates. Make sure to pay attention and avoid these when you sit your exam. The first sentence of the introduction is the hook. It grabs the reader's attention. This should include the topic of this question, obesity, and it should be written without any mistakes. Keep this sentence clean and simple. In this case, the student uses the phrase one of many. In this case, one of many problems. This is always a plural. The S is missing in this case. Pay attention to plurals and singulars. Instead of using the word actuality, the word today is more natural. For high bands 7, 8, 9, the examiner is also checking to see how natural language use is throughout the essay. The biggest mistake in this introductory paragraph is the use of template language. Way too many IELTS students finish their introductory paragraphs by stating that this essay will discuss. This is ambiguous and redundant. IELTS examiners do not give high marks to essays that have this type of thesis. The thesis statement, or the final sentence of the introduction, is the most important statement of an essay. It should be clear and direct, as in this case. Instead of stating, in this essay I will discuss 2 of, the thesis should state, the problems of this fact are junk food and infrequent exercise, but there are solutions to resolve them. This gives much greater clarity for the reader and much more interest to continue reading the essay, not to mention originality. So the first step to getting better band scores is writing a direct thesis statement. Now, let's take a look at the body paragraphs. Body paragraphs typically have a topic sentence, explanations, examples, and a connecting sentence that allows the essay to flow from paragraph to paragraph. First, let's read the original writing. The reasons of overweight people are numerous. Perhaps the most significant one is the fact that people started to eat more junk food than before, when the home-cooked meals were predominant. Indeed, the specialists started to worry about this phenomenon, which make people become very ill and suffers from other diagnostics, such as cardiovascular disease or diabetes. Another factor which contributes to this weight problem towards people is the lack of exercises. Nowadays, the younger generations do not have enough physical activities, and they even stopped walking to work or for their daily basis. For instance, to go shopping or have a casual stroll in the town. As with the hook, it's very important to keep the topic sentence accurate without mistakes. A strong start means a good mark. In this case, making a grammatical correction, like the reasons of being overweight, or simply using a more direct term, the reasons of obesity, are numerous, is a good correction to pay attention to when the student reviews their essay before finishing the exam. In the next sentence, this candidate does a good job of using complex grammar with a dependent and independent clause, joining the two elements with the conjunction before. Perhaps the most significant one is the fact that people started to eat more junk food than before. However, they use too many words, and this makes it slightly awkward and confusing. When practicing at home, practice to be concise. Avoid stating obvious information while making sure to include important information. This sentence will read well when we omit when the home-cooked meals were predominant, and simply continue with, indeed, the specialist started to worry about this phenomenon. The concise, natural form of this next sentence reads as, indeed, health experts worry about this phenomenon which makes people become very ill with cardiovascular disease or diabetes. Always review to see if you can simplify your sentences. You should never overcomplicate your writing just to seem complicated. Complex compound sentences should always be used with purpose. You should use them, just make sure that you have a good reason. Practice this at home and you will get higher band scores. The following explanation or reason for people being overweight, lack of exercise, is a well-written sentence with just minor mistakes. These types of mistakes generally do not have a significantly bad effect on the overall score. When you're reviewing for mistakes, it's good to fix these, but definitely make sure to pay attention to major mistakes that change the meaning and the coherence of the essay. Let's read the corrected form. Another factor which contributes to this weight problem for people is the lack of exercise. Nowadays, the younger generation does not do enough physical activities, and they have even stopped walking to work on a daily basis. It is great that this candidate is including an example. However, this author does not include the necessary information to complete the idea. This is a common mistake among students. They have the thoughts in their head, but they forget to put them on paper. Always think about your reader. Make sure not to omit important information. This concept and paragraph should finish in this way. Or to go shopping or have casual stroll in the town, as work and purchases are now made at home sitting at the computer. The second body paragraph follows the same structure as the first: topic sentence, explanations, and examples. It does not necessarily need a connecting sentence to the conclusion, because the conclusion summarizes all the information in the essay and gives a bit of extra information. Let's read this second body paragraph as it is, before corrections. To combat this negative effects on people's lives, the government should take some action. One option is to raise awareness about exercising and invest more in public sports facility. In Eastern European countries, the local authorities lodge fitness areas outdoor in parks, and the people can enjoy it while being in the park with their children. Another option is to ban or restriction the advertising for fast food and takeaways. If the publicity on this kind of meals will decrease, for sure, the level of health will increase. This action was taken in Russia a couple of years ago, and the Russians do not face this issue anymore. Their weight average is between 55 and 75 kilograms. Before I reveal the mistakes in this body paragraph, I challenge you to edit and find as many of the mistakes as you can. Then, check to see if you have found all the mistakes that I found. And if you haven't, it's important to figure out why not, so that you do not make those mistakes when you write your Task 2 essay. Take a couple of minutes and do it now. The two most critical mistakes in this body paragraph are 1. Word form mistakes and 2. Tense mistakes. It often happens that candidates will use the adjective form instead of the adverbial form of a word, or vice versa, adverb instead of adjective. Make sure to review for this. Also, candidates will often jump to the future, writing will or going to. In professional and academic writing, the general rule is to stay in the present tense as much as possible, so that the reader is not confused by the timing of the actions. Avoid using will and going to. Did you find these mistakes when you reviewed this paragraph? Let's check out the corrections. To combat these negative effects on people's lives, the government should take action. One opinion is to raise awareness about exercising and invest more in public sports facilities. In Eastern European countries, the local authorities build fitness areas outdoors in parks, and people can enjoy it while visiting the park with their children. Another opinion is to ban or restrict the advertising for fast food and takeaways. If the publicity for this kind of meals are decreased, the level of health can increase. This action was taken in Russia a couple of years ago, and the Russians do not face this issue anymore. Their weight average is between 55 and 75 kilograms. It's worth mentioning that the example is outstanding. Now, let's take a look at the conclusion. First, let's read the conclusion as is. In conclusion, population weight growth is a major concern worldwide. It may be possible to find a way to prevent this by giving more education about sports and having less accessibility to the grab-and-go food. Here are some of the minor mistakes corrected to have this conclusion read better. In conclusion, unhealthy weight gain is a major concern worldwide. It may be possible to find ways to prevent this by giving more education about sports and having less accessibility to grab-and-go food. A major correction to the conclusion is the inclusion of a take-home message. Good essays that are at the band 7 to 9 level should leave the reader with an important thought, whereby the reader thinks it was worth reading this essay. Here is an example take-home message that has been added to the end of this essay. It is the responsibility of governments and individuals to take action. Now, let's read the edited, corrected Band 9 result. There is no doubt that obesity is one of the major health problems of today which many people face. Weight gain diminishes the health of individuals and lowers quality of life. The problems of this fact are junk food and infrequent exercise, but there are solutions to resolve them. The reasons for obesity are numerous. Perhaps the most significant one is the fact that people started to eat more junk food than before. Indeed, health experts worry about this phenomenon, which makes people become very ill with cardiovascular disease or diabetes. Another factor which contributes to this weight problem for people is the lack of exercise. Nowadays, the younger generations do not do enough physical activities, and they have even stopped walking to work on a daily basis, or going shopping, or having a casual stroll in the town, as work and purchases are now made at home sitting at the computer. To combat these negative effects on people's lives, the government should act. One opinion is to raise awareness about exercising and invest more in public sports facilities. In Eastern European countries, the local authorities build fitness areas outdoors in parks, and people can enjoy it while visiting the park with their children. Another opinion is to ban or restrict the advertising of fast food and takeaways. If the publicity for this kind of meal is decreased, the level of health can increase. This action was taken in Russia a couple of years ago, and the Russians do not face this issue anymore. The weight average is between 55 and 75 kilograms. In conclusion, unhealthy weight gain is a major concern worldwide. It may be possible to find ways to prevent this by giving more education about sports and having less accessibility to grab-and-go food. It is the responsibility of governments and individuals to act. Now, we've reached a Band 8 to 9 essay. Let's take a look at the marks according to the official IELTS marking criteria. According to the official marking, the original piece would receive a Band 7 for task response, coherence and cohesion 6, lexical resource 6, grammatical range and accuracy 5. Overall, the score is band 5.5. This reflects the writing's ability to completely answer the question, create a strong argument, and allow ease of understanding and reading. The major points for this candidate to pay attention to are A. Avoiding frequent mistakes in the introduction, keeping the hook simple. B. Paying attention to plurals and possessive nouns. C. Reviewing the work for word form mistakes. It's extremely important that you get professional feedback on your writing to identify your mistakes so you too know where you need to improve so that you can get a band 6.5 and higher on your next IELTS exam. We look forward to seeing your work. Good luck the next time you sit your test. To get more help with your writing, for videos, practice exams, an interactive course, and an app for your phone, visit and join our premium IELTS package at aehelp.com. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. Use the code WRITE9 for an additional 10% discount. Simply click the link in the video description below. We are an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, an IELTS test registration center, and I'm a British Council agent. We are here to help you master your IELTS exam. Begin learning for success. Join now. Subscribe to our channel. Click over here. Watch another video. Click right up here. And click our IELTS Hero to join our premium package and get access to all of our videos, practice exams, and a fully interactive course.